There are three stages in memorizing the Quran: the Khatm, the Hifz, and then Al-Itqan. Now, the first one, Al-Khatm, is whereby a person will memorize the Quran. Mostly we start from the small surah, which is Surah Al-Nas, to Surah Al-Baqarah. So a person will memorize from Nas to Baqarah, but most of the verses have been forgotten. Mostly, such a person who is in the stage of Al-Khatm, he will forget majority of the surah that he finished before going to the next surah. So an example, the next surah after Surah Al-Rahman is Surah Al-Qamar. Now, a person in the stage of Khatm, mostly before you get to Surah Al-Qamar, he has forgotten a lot of Surah Al-Rahman, Surah Al-Waqi'ah, and Surah Al-Hadid. So the person will go with this trend until he will get to Baqarah. So he will finish the whole Quran in the first stage, which is Al-Khatm. However, about 80 to 90% of it will not be in his head. If he recites, he will know that he has memorized it, but he himself cannot recite it as it is. That is the first stage of memorizing the Quran. Unfortunately, majority of us, we are in the first stage, but then we confuse that and call that Hafiz. That one is not Hafiz. That is Khatm. The second stage is called Hifz, as we mentioned before. Now, this stage, it is a little bit more difficult than the first stage. This time around, we will not start from Nas. We will start from Baqarah. That is the original beginning of the Quran. So we will start from Baqarah. Fatiha is by default. Everyone knows it already. A situation whereby a person cannot recite a whole juz'ah of the Quran in his head is not called a Hafiz. So the second stage is all about maintaining what you have memorized today and repeating what you have memorized the previous day. That is the secret. So in this case, the more you are going forward, the more you need time to retain what you have memorized. That is also the second stage, which is Al-Hifz. This is the final stage of the three stages of memorizing the Quran. The first being the Khatm, the second being the Hifz. Now we are on the third one, which is Al-Itqan or Al-Mutqin. Now what do we mean by Al-Mutqin? Remember in our previous class, we said that to be able to reach the level of Hifz, at least you should be able to recite a whole juz'ah, which is 1/30th of the Quran from your brain, from your head, at least. So now in the final stage, by the time you get to Nas, that is, you start from Baqarah to the Nas, you should be able to retain at least 80 to 90% of what you have memorized in your head. Now the Itqan stage, it's all about repetition, because at this stage, you have already completed memorizing it. It's about repetition every single day, and it's also a little bit difficult. That one, it does not have time limits. It can take someone 10, 20 years to get to that stage. It's about repeating what you already know. You keep on repeating every single day. Some people recite 5 juz'ah a day. That is 1/6, I would say 1/6 of the Quran every single day. Some people do that. Some people recite even half of the Quran every single day. Some people recite 1/3 of the Quran every single day. It depends on your time and then your capability. So at this stage, it's all about repetition. By the time it will get to your heart, and at this stage, even if you are asleep and you are waking up, you will still be able to remember the verses of the Quran.